Hi, I'm Cherie Krim, candidate for Panama City Beach, City Council, Ward 4. I'm running because I love our city. I have the experience and dedication to make a difference here. I believe our government should listen to and work for its people. I will be focusing on our community, our environment, and I will always be an advocate for transparency. On April 21st, vote for me, Cherie. My name is Cherie Krim, candidate for Panama City Beach, City Council, Ward 4. I approve this advertisement.
And I still do, because community, environment, and transparency are important. Hello, everyone. It is Cherie Krim. I am here on a happy Monday, and it has been a fun time. I think all of us know that there was a leak, and women's right to choose might be in question. So it's going to be an interesting episode tonight. So I want to thank everybody for joining, and thank you for your questions. And I do really appreciate comments about what is going on and what we can do to help, especially when we have local politicians that won't want to vote against women's interests, against LGBTQ interests, probably lots of other things that we may not even know about yet. So super excited to be here this evening. This is actually BayCast number 18. I've done 18 of these. It's been quite fun. And it keeps going, and I know it's going to get busier and busier. So I want to start off with a speech that I gave, and I have already shown this before, but I think it's really important for us to know what we say to our politicians matter. And it matters where politicians hold events. It matters that hate events can't be held in places. Those things do matter because the truth and rights for everyone is important. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop myself off, and I'm going to play you a video.
Yes. Women's rights. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for actually saying that correctly. Cherie Krim, I have met both of Jay and George before, and I'm a member of many organizations and nonprofits here in town, as well as I own my own business. I believe that Bay County is one of the most beautiful places to live, and I know our community wants the freedom to be healthy, prosperous, and safe. Yet we have some major obstacles here in our community for many people. One, we have already talked about the housing issue, but our housing situation is a disaster, as you are aware. Look at households gone to replace our lower income housing. And let's be clear, $200,000 is not an affordable house for a lot of people here in Bay County. Now, so our community is comprised of many diverse people, yet many people are never heard here. And that's where it's time that we actually work together to create a community that works for all of us. Our community is changing, and we must lead with kindness and inclusivity. So let's talk about January now. January is National Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and I think you all got this in your report. Northwest Florida is #1 in Florida for child trafficking. This is a fact. In the report, you can see we had 282 in 2020. That's on page 5. Now, the kicker here is our area may be #1, but we also have no available safe house, no safe foster home, or any other residential program for these victims here. This should worry all of us since we are the largest in the state. There's a big red flag here. We've got to work on this together, okay? And this leads into the other issues related to trafficking here. As you've had many prominent people this year trying to get sex from minors. Let's not forget about the 6 massage parlors we just had shut down. Why aren't you saying anything about these issues? Why aren't you saying, hey, real men don't try to sleep with underage girls. Real men don't go to massage parlors for sexual acts. Speaking of underage girls, here in the state of Florida, you have made it illegal to get an abortion without parental consent if you are under 18. This is absurd. This shows how you want to control a woman's body from a young age. This should surprise no one since we do not have the Equal Rights Amendment passed here in Florida. Now, when it comes to abortion, politicians should not interfere with a woman's right to make her own choices about her health. These decisions should stay between a woman and her doctor. Politicians are using their religious beliefs to decide what a woman can do with her body, and that includes you. Here in Florida, you voted for My Body, My Choice, did you not? Does that only include men? Because women deserve their own bodily autonomy. This session, there's going to be an abortion bill coming up where you will be voting on taking away a woman's right to choose what to do with her body. You can't have it both ways, gentlemen. Do we have individual freedom here in the state of Florida? Is it really my body, my choice? Or is it my body, my choice, unless you're a woman, and then you get to decide what I get to do with my body? Thank you.
All right. So that was back in January, and that was the statement that I made to both Jay Trumbull and George Gaynor. And I have to tell you, the two men running against George Gaynor probably feel the same way he does. I know for sure Brian Cloudis absolutely is a forced birther. And I think using the right terms going forward is going to be really important. It's about, at this point, a woman owning her own body, or a man in religion telling every woman what they can do. We chose My Body, My Choice, didn't we? I know we did here in the state of Florida. So why is it that that only is for men? Why isn't it that a woman gets to choose what to do with her body? So it's kind of interesting because I mentioned in that statement that I gave that we've had prominent people here, okay, get arrested in sex stings, like the Bay County EMS captain, right? But I'm going to pull up what happened with Dwight Hicks. So I'm going to share my screen here because there's I've mentioned this, but I think it's really important for us to see the news article and to see, I mean, I'm going to say it the nicest way possible, what's wrong with our area. Because really, honestly, we've got some significant issues that we need to talk about. All right, suspect gets probation in undercover sex stings. And I'm going to get myself over here to the side. Sorry about that. So we can play this video real quickly. And yeah.
A local businessman accused of trying to meet an underage girl for sex pleaded no contest today and was sentenced to probation. Last April, Panama City realtor Dwight Hicks began having conversations with undercover Panama City police officers who were posing the 17-year-old girl. He then allegedly arranged to meet the teenager at a local hotel and bring her back to his office. When he showed up, he found Panama City police officers waiting. Today, a judge sentenced Hicks to 3 years probation. He will not be labeled as a sex offender, but he will need to undergo a sex offender evaluation and treatment. When Hicks was arrested, State Attorney Larry Bassford said his office had a conflict of interest and asked the governor to bring in another state attorney. First Judicial Circuit State Attorney Ginger Madden's office handled the Hicks prosecution.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Up to $50,000 in forgivable grants can help you by
I want to make that go away now. What? Bad Dwight Hicks. Bad man for trying to solicit sex from a minor. Do we think that's normal? Should he have gotten a harsher sentence? Probably. But that's not how it works here in the state of Florida. Men get very late sentences when they try to do things, and I'm not exactly sure why. Oh, yeah, I am. I know exactly why. Because the men they get to do whatever they want, and it's all the women's fault, right? Just like the man, I mean, all of these men want to tell me what to do with my body. Are you going to pay for the baby? Are you? And if it's a baby right away, does that mean I get a tax deduction right away? I honestly, it blows my mind. So we want to talk about where the issues are here. These issues are with these grown-ass men trying to sleep with young women in this area. Let's look at something that maybe all of us could say, hey, stop. Real men don't try to sleep with underage girls. In fact, how about we say real men don't cheat on their wives? Would the wives be okay with that? I would hope so, but who knows? All right. Whiteheads. Ugh, it frustrates me every time. My body, my choice. It does matter. There is going to be a rally. It is actually Sunday, this coming Sunday at the Hathaway Bridge at 12 o'clock. So if you guys want to go over there and do that, I am not running it. It's actually a new person. And let's be clear on this, because I got into a little discussion with Mr. Cloudis on women's rights and him being a forced birther. He thinks the Bay County wants to force women to have babies. So please let Brian Cloudis know that you don't want to be forced to have a baby, that it is your body, my choice. Because these candidates need to hear from us. And if they don't hear you saying it, then they think they're right. And let me tell you, out of the thousands, upon probably tens of thousands at this point of people I've talked to here in Bay County, nobody wants the government in their personal life. We like the right to privacy here in the state of Florida. So why can't we just have that? I don't know. Probably because they want to force pregnant people to have babies, right? Is that the case? And I said pregnant people so I could get somebody to get all mad at me. Oh, bad lefty. I just said pregnant people. All right. I have to laugh at this sometimes. All right. Forced birthers, not cool. Neil Dunn, as always, gives great, not so great advice, I guess is the right way. So we're going to listen to what Neil Dunn has to say this week because, yeah, let's see.
This week, Health and Human Services Secretary Becerra appeared before the House Energy and Commerce Committee to justify President Biden's 2023 HHS budget. This budget calls for more radical spending on progressive priorities. I have serious concerns with this budget because it fails to address the issues that are hurting you and many other Americans. One of the main issues HHS fails to address is the lack of public confidence.
I'm sorry. I have to stop here and come back on. I have to. Did he just say the budget? This man right here voted against $35 insulin for you. This man right here does not care about what money is being spent. He cares about getting reelected and toting the party line. He voted against $35 insulin, y'all. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
In our federal health agencies, the agencies continue to fumble in handling COVID-19 protocols. They've changed their recommendations many times and fail to get on the same page when it comes to important policies like accelerated approval of life-saving treatments. This has caused what?
We didn't get on the life-saving? What? $35 insulin? Let's go back. I think I can change it here, Dr. Dunn. Let's just keep bringing up $35 insulin. I like that. Let's do that.
Widespread frustration and skepticism. If our federal health agencies want the public to listen to their recommendations, they need to be more transparent and regain the public's trust. I'm Neil Dunn.
Wow. He just said transparent to get the public's trust. Hey, Neil Dunn, I haven't seen you do a video about why you didn't vote for $35 insulin. Would you like to do that? I would really appreciate it. And I know your constituents would as well. Or maybe even have a town hall. Oh, I know. That's too much because you're afraid you might catch COVID if we get in a room, right? Because the COVID protocols keep on changing. That was a joke. Wow, Neil Dunn, you never disappoint. So if you get any of Neil Dunn's emails, he sends out multiples every week, one around politics and one about what is good going on in Bay County. It's kind of interesting. Maybe I missed it. Probably not. But why hasn't Neil Dunn mentioned this? Florida team accepted, you guys, you see this? Into 27 universities. And looking at this, you guys, seriously, 27 universities with $4 million in scholarships. Jonathan Walker. Imagine that.
To 20.
It is waiting for the cash to catch up. You gotta love it. It's like trying. It's trying. Let's go.
7 colleges and universities.
Oh no, like being honest, I thought that all of them were reach schools. They're so difficult to get into. If I could get admission into one of them, I would have been super thankful.
Thankful 27 times over. The Panama City senior accepted into every school he applied to, including Stanford, Harvard, Yale, Duke, and MIT.
I wouldn't say that like I got used to it. Each time that I got into a new school, it was just a ton of excitement.
Jonathan's resume is stacked. He was crowned homecoming king, he's in the science club, the International Baccalaureate program, and he's on the varsity football team.
I would just say that I've been blessed with God with a lot of ability, and so, I mean, I just want to take the time and use it to the fullest extent and just affect others, positively affect them, and try and inspire other people.
In his spare time, Jonathan's managed to invent a device to help blind and deaf people communicate.
It's basically like a wrist-held device where people who are blind and deaf can facilitate their communication with the outside world, so that they're not only able to communicate with interpreters, but somebody can come up to them on the street and they're able to communicate with them.
But how does one 18-year-old choose from a list of 27 schools and more than $4 million worth of scholarship money?
Right, so it's definitely been like a ton of pros and cons lists. I've been trying to narrow it down. I've been able to narrow it down slightly. Hopefully sometime in the next couple of weeks, I'll be able to make a pretty confident decision.
His decision-making skills so far obviously serving him well. As far as choosing a major, Jonathan says he's thinking engineering.
All right. Jonathan is from Bay County. Jonathan goes to Rutherford. Why hasn't Neil Dunn mentioned him? Why isn't Neil Dunn excited that this young gentleman got accepted to that many colleges with that many scholarships? I don't know. You tell me, Neil Dunn. Isn't this vitamin D for Bay County? Why wouldn't you want to showcase? Yeah, watch what your politicians do. They may say one thing, but they don't always do the right thing. And you definitely want to watch that one. So, yay. Thank you so much, Jonathan Walker. And I've actually met him over at Rutherford once. He is a very nice young gentleman, and I wish him the best of luck because he has worked hard to get here. And I want to make sure that everybody in Bay County knows that there is more out there. And if you want to go to college, you can. And if you want to go to college here, you can. College is a path forward. It's not the only path forward, but it is a path forward. And if you want to go, it's available to you. And I want to tell you, I would not trade any bit of my college education, my undergraduate or my master's degree, because you learn so much with critical thinking skills that you are able to interpret things differently. You learn a lot of skills, and it just really is important. So speaking of importantness, there were 2 op-eds about the subject that we've talked about before. So I'm going to pull up the first op-ed, which is from Laura Bajorquin, who is the Democratic committee chair. She's the chair here, executive committee chair. So I am going to pull up her op-ed, and we're going to read through it because I think it's important to see what was written. So everybody can see it on the page. The real war on children is waged by Republicans. To listen to Bay County Republican leadership and Governor DeSantis, you'd think the Democrats, the party that started the Children's Health Insurance Program and greatly expanded the child tax credit, were boogeyman in a Halloween horror movie coming for children in the dead of night. Democrats are parents and grandparents too, and we strongly believe that teaching about any issue, including sexual orientation and gender identity, should be age appropriate. What we don't believe in is using children as political pawns so political hacks like Governor DeSantis can get themselves reelected. The Don't Say Gay bill is a fake solution to a non-existent problem. Bay County teachers don't teach sex education to young children. The Republicans don't cite any evidence that Democrats indoctrinate students because the evidence doesn't exist. This law has one purpose: to create fake news to scare parents into voting Republican. Gay marriage is legal in the United States. It is legal for gay people to adopt children. So what about the little girl or little boy who has two mommies or two fathers? Under the Don't Say Gay, if that child talks about his or her family in class, the teacher is required to ignore that child or risk getting fired. If someone mocks or bullies that child for having two mommies or two fathers, or for being gay, or for trying to protect another kid who is gay from being bullied, the teacher has to just let it go or risk being fired. This law will stigmatize and silence LGBTQ children and youth. Do the Republicans care what happened to those children? Clearly not. If Republicans actually cared about children, they would have renewed the Universal School Lunch Program. Oh, there you go. That's another one. Hey, Dr. Dunn, why didn't you do that? You don't care about our health and you don't care about feeding our children. Let's see. How did we get here? This is quite fun. All right. Instead, Republicans filibustered the bill, which left the program without funding. Because of Republicans' disinterest in our children, Bay County children will go hungry unless their parents have their paperwork exactly right. Now, I've mentioned this a couple times, and I'm just going to step back here, and I'm going to mention the Alice report right now. When you look at the latest Alice report, our children are more than 50% in poverty, and they are wondering where their next meal is coming from. A lot of children, their main meal is what they get from school. And I'm tearing up because this matters. It matters what we do and how we treat our most vulnerable. And our leaders around here don't seem to care too much about that. So Democrats expanded Medicaid to families in the vast majority of other states under the Affordable Care Act. And years before that, Democrats created the Children's Health Insurance Program, the CHIP. The Republicans who control Tallahassee have blocked the expansion of Medicaid in Florida, and the GOP has spent the better part of the past decade trying to repeal the Affordable Care Act, while proposing nothing to replace it with. Republicans voted to defund CHIP as recently as 2018. While they legislate to solve non-existent problems, they're working to defund health insurance for kids. You have to ask why, since Republicans claim to care so much about children and families, they wouldn't fund these programs to protect their health and safety. The answer is so that millionaires and corporations don't have to pay their fair share of taxes. That's who they care about, not our children. So when you see this, right, this literally, it is an absolute fact-filled op-ed, right? It is absolutely with what has happened. Nothing in that op-ed was wrong by any means. It is purely factual. So let's see what the response was, because for a very honest and open discussion, what was received back? Well, I'll let you see. Because, yeah. Wow. Woo! All righty. We're going to put this bigger up on the screen. There we go. This is from the vice chair, and it says guest columnist, but so is the vice chair of the Republican. So you would think Bay County Democrats defend the undefendable. On April 24th, the chairwoman of the Bay County Democratic Party aimed to gaslight our community about Governor Ron DeSantis' courageous fight for parental rights. Y'all, there was no gaslighting. It was truth. Do you know what gaslight means? Honestly, do we know? Because that's not what is true. So if this bill was really about parental rights, it wouldn't have just included sexual orientation and gender identity. It would have included not teaching the kids about rape, incest. I don't know if it was really about that. It would include it a lot more, right? But it wasn't. And there is no gaslighting going on. So let's continue. Thankfully, Floridians of all types are seeing through these desperate attacks, which is why the state is now a majority Republican state for the first time in its history. No, that's not. Wow. That's not really true either. All right. First of all, I do not believe Laura Bjorklund has actually taken the time to listen to Bay County Republican leadership. Really? You don't listen to a word we say and you want us to listen to you? Unfortunately, there's been a campaign by prominent left-wing activists in Bay County to harass local businesses for platforming Republican speakers. Let's be clear. It is not left-wing activists. It is the community that lives here that cares about LGBTQ. It's not left-wing activists. I know if you want to say it loud enough many times, you might gaslight yourself into believing it, but it's not true. And I love how they want to put it back. And again, back to me putting it out there that the hate meeting was going to happen at Buster's Beer and Bait. You know, if you're going to put the hate out, which that meeting had a lot of lies in it. When you go through it, you can actually hear the lies and find them and see how some facts were slipped in that really didn't need to be there. But that's a whole nother thing for another day. All right. If our local Democrats were interested in actually listening to the concerns of the majority of Bay County parents, they would see that many of their claims in her article are simply not true. So what claim isn't true? What claim isn't true? What is it? For example, at a recent Republican roundtable meeting, I offered a variety of examples of left-wing activists abusing their positions as teachers to push radical views about gender identity and sex to children. Why, yes, you did. And those were from TikToks, and it was placed on this really funky Twitter account that the woman didn't want her name out there, and then a journalist exposed her, and then y'all got really mad about it. Really? That's who we should be looking at? Random people. And by the way, were any of them in Bay County? The Libs of TikTok Twitter account has aggregated numerous Florida teachers boasting about teaching age-inappropriate classroom content. This has created an entire industry of books, card games, and other children-targeted content designed to confuse kids about gender and sexual identity. What? How does that make sense? By any means whatsoever. So I'm sitting here going, like, what LGBTQ book do I have up here? I know I probably do have some children's books back there, but really? That's where you want to take this? Wow. All right, let's keep going. All right. Entire industry. Wow. An entire industry to teach kids that it's okay to be who they want to be. All right. Next up, one of the most vulgar and disgusting examples is a book called Gender Queer, a memoir, which the school library journal has promoted as a book appropriate for teens. This book contains explicit illustrations of child pornography, and it can be found in school libraries across the country. It will not, however, be found in Florida. Again, local versus national. What are we doing here in Bay County? Was it here? Has it caused issues here? No. Have you found examples of teachers here? Unfortunately, this propaganda from activists posing as teachers is working. A Pew poll has shown that 56% of Generation Z Americans believe the myth that anyone can change their gender, the only generation where this view is a majority opinion. This is a direct result of indoctrination from public schools and cultural outlets. So you're scared because the young people don't want to fit into your traditional norms that a man must marry a woman and the woman needs to do what the man says. And then the man's going to force birth on her, right? Because, you know, he can't control it himself. And, you know, a woman doesn't get pregnant by herself, but yet somehow it always just falls on her, the pregnant person, to decide what to do. Goodness gracious. All right. Wow. Most troubling is that Biden administration has currently come out in favor of using tax dollars to subsidize irreversible medical procedures for minors, grounded on these dangerous myths. Okay. Myths. Go read a medical journal. The horror stories of former trans-identifying young Americans dealing with irreversible damage from body mutilation and sterility are silent human rights crisis. You know what? Absolutely. People who want to detransition, it happens. But you are basing things on, again, just as concerning are the ways the state has weaponized the justice system to undermine the rights of parents in these situations. We have seen public schools hide instances of sexual assault because the perpetrator identified as a member of a new protected class. We have seen parents lose custody of their children because they refuse to conform to trans ideology being pushed by state officials. And where did this happen in Bay County? Please tell me where. All right. Thankfully, Governor DeSantis shows what it means to empower parents and protect children. He did so by standing up for medical freedom. Really? Medical freedom? Is that what you're going to call it now that you're going to try to force me to, you want me forced birth too. I know you do though. While Democrat governors keep them alone and isolated, he did so by purging our curriculums of racist material designed to make children be ashamed of their heritage as Americans. All right. Really? Just go look up the articles on what they actually removed. And most of the things that were being removed were actually Common Core, which were being removed anyhow. Facts matter, and you can look it up. There we go. We are lucky to live in a community like Bay County, where the majority of our teachers truly have the best interests of our community's children at heart. Unfortunately, even here, we've seen how the radical, far-left Equality Florida has been able to work its way into the training material for Bay District school counselors and personnel. We have voiced our concerns to Bay County School Board and will be working to eliminate this training from our community and remove those responsible from their positions. What? So you want bullying. You want LGBTQ kids to be bullied. You want the teachers not trained on how to handle things? Okay, Bay County, when you look at the entire state of Florida, there's only 4 counties that have not done the entire training. We're one of them. So that's not really the hill you want to die on, that you're going to get people fired who allowed Equality Florida training in, because 63 out of 67 counties did too. Are you going to go after them? Because the fact of the matter is, you have no idea what you're talking about with what the Equality Florida training is about. You called it CRT training, which you know darn well, Equality Florida does not train critical race theory. Let's be clear who Equality Florida is. Oh my goodness. All right. Governor DeSantis has shown Republicans across the country what it means to stand up for what is right. And the Bay County Republican Party is dedicated to following his example. So, yeah. The article said gaslight at the beginning, and that's what it tried to do the entire way through. There are no far left extremists in Bay County. There are people who care in Bay County. And their event got canceled, or moved, I should say, to their safe space, the Trump store, because it was a hate event. And they were going to say in that event, and they did, that LGBTQ are groomers and pedophiles, which we all know is not true. But you have to demonize somebody. And I know you're scared because, you know, LGBTQ folks, we're scary as we can be, right? Because we want to leave with kindness and glitters and rainbow. So, I mean, we just want to be treated with equality and dignity and respect. It isn't hard, but yet we have a whole group of people out there that think there's a problem with it. So who you vote for matters. And I will tell you, both Brian Cloudis and Griffiths do not care about the LGBTQ. They made it clear. Go check out the Republican page for their statements. So that was a fun time doing the op-eds. Let's go look at some candidates' financials now, because that's even more fun, because I want to see who's running, who's doing what. And I think it matters, right? You guys here in Bay County want to see who's running. So thank you for the op-eds, and thank everybody for doing that, because the truth matters. And yeah, we can do better here in Bay County because we are inclusive and diverse. In fact, we have tons of community partners with the LGBTQ Center here in town, as well as a lot of businesses that don't seem to want to hold certain events. So it's interesting living here in Bay County, but I want to be clear. It's people who care, and the people that care are not out to be hateful, are not there to try to talk you into I don't know. Like, I don't understand where this hate for the LGBTQ community is coming from. Yeah, I do. It's religion. What am I trying to fake myself here? It's the same reason why they want to control my body. They don't like that LGBTQ people can get married and have families and talk about sex, right? Because that's all right. Let's go look at local candidates. Let's see. And I do again want to say, yay, go Mary Coburn for beating Jeff McConnell. I think you guys had heard me. I'm going to make this full screen for this side so you guys can see it. I really got to tell you, I was super excited to see, all the money Jeff McConnell spent and then didn't actually do anything with it because, well, he lost. That's the fun part. All right. So that election, we're going to go back to Municipal Super Tuesday. And I just want to go back to the money amount because I got to just look at this one more time. Paul Casto to win spent that. That's ridiculous. Jeff McConnell to lose spent that. Paul didn't even need to spend this money. And that really does, yeah. It is who we are. All right, let's see who is running. Let's see. All right. So District 2, we've got Robert Carroll running unopposed right now. District 4, County Commission, Doug Moore running unopposed right now. William Dyer running for Bay County Judge, Group 3, unopposed right now. Francis Key Gordon and Ann Leonard are both running for School Board District 2. I've met both of them, and I think they are amazing women. And I believe that we need somebody in there who wants to be there since Brenda decided to withdraw. School Board District 3 is Christopher Moore. That means Pam Chapman's not rerunning. Steve Moss for District 5. And then over in Lake Powell, you have seat 5. So only person who has money so far is William. Wow. Let's see. Dyer's already got a ton of money in there. Let's see. He started off. And you guys can always go look at this up online, right? You guys can see. So he actually gave it to himself. He gave himself $80,000 to run his campaign. That's what you can see right there. All right. Going back. Let's see. What is the other one? Ann Leonard. She's already spent some money here. Hi, Ann Leonard. She's running for District 2 because she has a deep belief in education. She ran Haney. I mean, she is an amazing person. So if you haven't met her yet, she is quite amazing. I do like Ann. I like both of them. So you guys can see here, you can go in and the candidate to themselves gave themselves money. But you can see here who gave money to Ann's campaign. It's all there. And then, of course, when she starts spending the money, you'll be able to watch that as well. So there is time still to get into these elections. So I hope some people want to jump in and maybe come and do one of these elections because it would be amazing. Because I believe every election needs a competitor. I don't believe anybody should win by being unopposed. And that really should be something that we strive for here in Bay County. And that's my crazy thought process in making sure that we do have a democracy, because democracy is what we have here in the United States. And speaking of that, what percentage of people don't want Roe versus Wade overturned? A lot more than 50, 60, 70. Even Fox News knows the truth, but they don't want to talk about it. All right, let's look at the next races. This is going to be fun because we know that, there we go. Look at this list. It is pulling up. All right. So we know for United States Senator, we have a bunch of people running. We do know that Ken dropped out and is rerunning for a different position now. So that is where that is. Next up, you have over here. I just want to go look because Matt Gaetz, last time, I don't know if he spent any money. Honestly, I don't know if he did or not, but he doesn't have any finance reports yet. So, all right. So he's got no money in his account. Let's see. How much money does Rebecca Jones have? I don't know. I don't see any finance data in here either. Interesting. Campaign, petition. Interesting. Let's see. Does Peggy have any money? Peggy Ann Schiller? All right. Federal campaign reports. Nope. All right. Nope. There either. Wow. All right. Nothing is popping up there. All right. Let's go back. So we know Neil Dunn has Mark Christopher Garrett running as active. I click on the federal campaign. Again, nothing is going on in his report. And honestly, I don't think I've seen anything from this particular candidate. And again, this MPA candidate as well. I don't see any money in the account. So, what y'all going to do against Neil Dunn? I really want to know. All right, next, we keep going down. Governor race. Yep. Nikki Fried. Let's just go look. Let's see. Nikki Fried. Holy crap. And y'all can see it on the screen, right? Nikki's made almost $2 million. That's a lot of money. Look at that. All right. I got myself lost off the screen, y'all. Sorry about that. I was sharing and then all of a sudden I went away. So sorry about that. I'm going to go back and share the screen again. I always find something fun that pops up. So Nikki's made that much money. Let's go and see. Okay, I'm going to put you guys back up full screen. So that's Nikki. So 2 million. Ron DeSantis. What does he have? Ron DeSantis has 7.2 million. Big war chest there, y'all. Big war chest. Yep. All right. Keep going. Let's go back. And then we've got, who else is running? Charlie Crist. That's another big name that we all know. And he's got almost $4 million. So he raised quite a bit in the last month. Go Charlie Crist. All right, let's go down. We've got Attorney General. We got a couple Democrats running there. We'll dig into them at a different time. Ryan Morales. We've got him, Public Defender, State Senator. So there is going to be the Republicans are holding their own candidate debate, because there is a candidate running against George Gaynor and then the two candidates that are running for Jay Trumbull's spot. So that is going to be happening. So if you want to go to that event, you can go check it out on the Republican page. I think they're having it at Gulf Coast, I believe. But it would be a really good time. I think everybody should go to hear what the candidates have to say, because I think we all need to know if they're forced birthers and if they care about equality and diversity and inclusion for Bay County, or if they want to go for corporate interests. I'm not sure. So, all right. let's keep going. Looking here, we've got that. So let's see, does Gaynor have any money? Gaynor has a little bit of money now. He's got $48,000. Let's see if the new lady has any money. Regina. Nope, no money yet in Regina. Let's go see if Carolyn Zonia, who is also running against him, she's got money. She's got about $5,000 in her account. And if you haven't gone to her website yet, Carolyn Zonia is an ER doctor. And when you talk about somebody who really wants to make Bay County or this area family friendly, family first, it is Carolyn Zonia. And you guys need to go check out her website. So I hope you do that. And I'll go back here to the page because you can go here, right? You can email her or to her website, which, it's not letting me reach it that way. But you can look her up. She's got a Facebook page. She has everything out there, but you guys can go check out Carolyn Zonia. She is quite amazing. Now let's go down. Woo-hoo. Where are we at? Where are we? That is all the state senators, state representatives. Griffiths. How much money you got, Griffiths? Woo! Holy crap. $260,000. All right. So we know a whole bunch of money just came in, over $100,000. So just back to this point, you can always go and see, it is public record who gives money to the candidates. So you can go back through and you can see who has given them money. And in fact, you can see where most of the people live, right? Panama City, Lynn Haven. I mean, look at this. There's a few Tallahassee there. All right. And he did spend some money too. So let's see. What did you spend money on? All right. And he spent money locally at Gagnon's, Houday, Yacht Club. Yeah, he spent some money locally on things. Well, thank you for that. Very appreciative. I know our local economy thanks you for that. So thank you for doing that. Next up, let's check out Cloudus. And let's see. I think Cloudus probably had, everybody starts to get fundraising more. So Cloudus had a good March as well with $14,000. So let's see where his contributions came from. There's some from Panama City. There's Panama City. A lot that aren't Panama City. A lot that aren't local. Fort Lauderdale, Astoria, East Palenque, Lakeland, Ocala, Jupiter. And let's see. And he went and he spent $3,000. So where did the money go? Oh, he had campaign t-shirts made, not locally. He had campaign t-shirts made in Moultrie, Georgia. If you want to be here locally, shouldn't you be buying stuff from the local folks? There we go. Wow. Okay. Why wouldn't you do that? All right, let's just see. Let's even go back. Let's go back to February and let's just see. Maybe you bought some stuff locally then. No, more from Georgia. And paying this fundraiser consultant. What? Why are you not having things made it locally? I mean, honestly. All right, let's go see. Where's another expenditure? A big one. Let's go back to the $7,000 back then. Let's see. What? Again? Consulting, email services. That's from, okay. Wow. You know, when I ran, I made sure that I bought things locally because it matters. It matters where you spend your campaign money. And when you're buying things from somewhere else that aren't even in the state or the area that you're running for, buying local matters, small businesses matter, and it should matter to our campaign, but I'm sure they're friends and there's lots of reasons there. So that was just so much fun. Financials. I'm actually going to do just like I did for the other candidates for other races. I go back through and I pull the whole list of who gives money because again, it's public record, because you want to watch your elected officials, just like Mark over on the beach and Jeff McConnell and Paul Casto, all of them gave their donors seats on boards. Watch if the same thing happens, right? Who do they hire? Do they hire somebody who's doing something? So super important to watch that. So local events, I did mention there is a Women's March this Sunday. And guess what? It was put up by an average citizen here in Bay County, because it's not the far right, far left, far right, far left, because we're not the extremists. We just want bodily autonomy, and we want respect, dignity, equality, equity, diversity, inclusion. It's not really hard when you lead with kindness. And I will tell you, leading with kindness every day is the only path forward. And I try to do that. As much as I want to, you guys will catch me when I try not to go nasty, because there's no point, right? The things that have been said about me for that event that got moved to the safe space was just hysterical. But look at what gaslighting is, and look at the 2 articles, and who do you want to vote for? Do you want, and this is where values come in. What are your values? Do you believe that men are superior and should tell women what to do? Do you believe politicians should be in your uterus? Do you believe being LGBTQ is a sin? What are your values? I'm going to tell you, the majority of Bay County women don't want anybody in their uterus. The majority of Bay County people are tired of the divide. They are tired of the hate, greed, and fear that is coming from the Republican Party, from Donald Trump, from Ron DeSantis with these made-up issues. We don't have to be that way, y'all. We can have a government that works for all of us. We just got to get the right people elected. And right now, we've got really crappy choices, except for Carolyn Zonia and some of the local positions. But at the state level, we don't have anybody right now that is running against those 2 men that absolutely would probably, just like Jay and George, want to force me to have a baby. So you got to think about your values. Do you believe women should be forced to have a baby? Because let's be clear, back to the 15-week abortion ban that they did. They made sure there was no clause for rape, incest, or human trafficking. Why would anyone want to force a woman to have a baby who was raped, whose father raped her, who was trafficked and impregnated by who knows who? It's not about the baby. It's about controlling a woman, and it's about forcing her to give birth. Now, if you go read the whole synopsis, there's a really interesting part that was written about how there's not enough babies for white people to adopt. And I say white people, but you know what I mean. It really is about that. There aren't enough babies. So you're going to force women to have babies? And it's not going to stop there, y'all. First, they're going to force us to have babies. This is privacy, right? Next, are they going to take away birth control from women? Because you're going to force us to have a baby, right? Make sure we don't have any birth control. If that's the case, then are you going to support the baby? Oh, no. Then it's all our fault for opening our legs, and we need to support the baby because we did this. I am just so tired of this argument. My body, my choice. Period. Y'all voted for it. All of you here in Florida wanted it. So let's just keep it that way. So I want to thank everybody for joining the Women's March on Sunday. I do want to mention Pride Fest is coming up, and that's going to be on June 11th. I'm super excited. You can go more to the LGBTQ Center page and look for that. It's going to be an amazing time. We have local musicians that are going to be there playing. We have local entertainment. We have stilt walkers and balloons and, oh my goodness, all the tents, and the community is going to be there. Our last Pride Fest had thousands of people. So we know with the hate right now going on, we need this. And we know that it is going to be an amazing day, and I hope that everybody can join. And lastly, also, at the end of the month, you do have the Gulf Coast Children's Advocacy Center, they have their barbecue. And that is a really good cause. And I would definitely, if you get a chance, to go to that. So I hope everybody has a great rest of their week. It looks like the weather here is going to be beautiful. So I hope you guys get to go out and enjoy it. And I want us just to keep thinking about, what are our values? Do we really value my body, my choice? Or do we want to force women to give birth? And we want to put people back in closets. What do we want? Because we've moved so far forward that we can keep going. This bump in the road with more hate, it's not going to stop progress, because progress is coming. And nothing is going to stop us becoming the country that we truly believe we are. But it's going to be a lot of changes to get there. So I thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day. And I will see you guys in a couple of weeks with more information. But go look at finances. Go look at things. See if you know anybody who gave to these crappy candidates. It's always fun when you do.